Well, thank you, Wang Mo. It's a wonderful introduction to, we've kind of covered the drawbacks of not remembering death, the drawbacks of remembering death and impermanence, and the advantages. And what I'd like to share with you is the actual way to do this. And we're going to do this in the form of the 9 Contemplations of Atisha. And we have the 9 Contemplations offer a way to explore the inevitability of death and what is important to us in light of our mortality. So it's not just understanding it, but it's contemplating the so what question about it and the meaningful aspect of it. So the practice asks us to question what we're doing in our life now, at this very moment, to see what's important to us in order to prepare for death. And as many of you know, Atisha was an 11th century Tibetan Buddhist scholar and saint, and had a dramatic influence on the flourishing of Buddhism in Tibet. And he systematized the method for generating an enlightened mind, and these contemplations are very much a part of that. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to spend quite a bit of time here contemplating each of these 9 points. So we'll take 3 to 5 minutes on each one of these points, and then we'll have like 15 minutes at the end to share with one another what arose in our minds as we were doing these contemplations. And it might be relevant to the advantages and, or whatever it is, but any insights that you'd like to share. And I also want to acknowledge Joan Halifax Roshi, who these contemplations she further developed with some of the commentary that I'm going to be sharing with you, and these are available on the internet. And I'm going to give you a shortened version of them to take with you today. So first, you can just bring your attention to your breath. And calm the mind to prepare. And I'm going to begin and just invite you as we go through this to really consider each of these contemplations as deeply as you can. And the first contemplation is that all of us, each one of us, will die sooner or later. Even though it may be difficult for you to realize that someday you will die, there is absolutely no question that you will be met by death sooner or later. There's no way around it. No one can prevent death. Death is the natural outcome of birth. It is inevitable. Not a single sentient being, no matter how spiritually evolved, powerful, wealthy, or motivated, has escaped death. The Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad did not escape death. Nor will you and I. All the gifts of your life, education, strength, gender, friends, and family, will make no difference at the moment of death. In fact, many of these circumstances can make dying harder because we hang on to them. Death lends a sense of profound equality to all of us. Look at your life now. What are you doing right now that will help you die? Please consider this and observe your response to this question. What are you doing right now that will help you die? Then remind yourself, death is inevitable, I too will die. Repeat this statement to yourself. When the mind wanders away from this contemplation of the inevitability of death, call it back. On the in-breath, death is inevitable. On the out-breath, I too will die. Watch what the mind may do to escape this very simple fact. Can you face this truth? Can you feel it in your body, your blood, your bones? Can you know it in your breath? The inevitability of death pervades every cell in your body. Please do not forget this. Death is inevitable. This is the first contemplation. The second contemplation, your lifespan is decreasing continuously. Your lifespan lessens every moment that you live. There is the moment of your birth, and then the time of your death. Life flows for better or worse between these 2 points of change. Your movement toward death never stops. Every breath you take in and give out brings you closer to this destination that we call death. Every word that you speak, every thought that you have brings you nearer to death. Every step that you take brings you closer to your so-called final resting place. As you consider that your lifespan and that of all living beings is ever decreasing, notice what comes up in your mind. If the mind attempts to divert you, call yourself back to this truth, that your lifespan is decreasing continuously. Perhaps appreciate what you have now, and that there may be no tomorrow. The third contemplation. Death will come whether you are prepared or not. Life is short, and most of us will meet our death without having strengthened our awareness of our true nature. How much time do you now spend training, strengthening, and stabilizing your mind? When death comes, do you think that you can negotiate with it for more time? How often do you turn your mind toward the commitment to prepare for death? Death is merciless. It has no discrimination. up until the time it comes, if we are wise, we will be mindful of death. Please ask yourself, how do you spend your time? What really is important for you to do with this precious human life? We spend so much time eating, drinking, grooming, playing, working, sleeping. We conduct business, make and spend money, and tend our relationships. When we are dying, we might wonder, what have I done with my life? Most of us are doing so little to prepare ourselves for death. This contemplation, reminding us that death will come whether we are prepared or not, encourages us to take care of life now and prepare for death. In light of the truth of your ever-decreasing lifespan, how do you want to spend your time, your energy, your resources? Is there a way that you can truly benefit others and yourself? Is your capacity to give attention to the mind and body in this moment adequate to meet the challenge of dying and death? You can ready yourself right now. Watch your mind. Does it avoid facing the fact that death will come regardless of whether you are prepared for it? Before going on this journey, please make the best arrangements possible. Prepare yourself for going to this destination that we call death. Consider the third contemplation that death will come, whether or not we are prepared. The fourth contemplation. Your lifespan, like that of all living beings, is not fixed. Think of the many beings who died this day. How many of them really thought they were going to die today? There is an essential uncertainty about the time of your death. Please consider this. Death can come at any moment. You could die this afternoon. You could die tomorrow morning. You could die on your way to work or in your sleep. Most of us try to avoid the sense that death can come at any time, but the timing of death is truly unknown to us. Can we live each day as if it were our last? Can we listen to one another, relate to one another as if there is no tomorrow? Are you ready to die? Abide in the cycle of your in-breath and out-breath, remembering that death can come at any moment. You do not know how long this lifespan will be. This is the fourth contemplation. The fifth, death has many causes. There are so many ways to die. The causes of death are infinite. You can die because of a storm or an accident. You can die of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, old age. You can die of fear or of a broken heart. Even if you've been diagnosed with a so-called terminal illness, that may not be the cause of your death. Watch what your mind does when you contemplate the truth that death can come through so many doors. Do you try to avoid this thought, or are you able to consider the possibilities? The sixth contemplation. Your body is fragile and vulnerable. When you are young, you may feel as if you will live forever. Growing older, seeing other people die, you may know differently. Life hangs by a breath. Breathe in. After this next exhalation, consider the possibility that you might not be able to inhale. When the wind has gone from your nostrils and the breath no longer enters your body, then your lifespan has ended and you will die. Look deeply at the truth of this. Say to yourself, this life is so fragile and is completely dependent on my breath. Breathing in, my life depends on this inhalation. Breathing out, my life depends on this exhalation. Can you allow yourself to really know that your life is hanging by a breath? Inhalation, my life depends on this in-breath. Exhalation, my life depends on this out-breath. The beating of your heart, the activity of your brain gives life to your life. A heart attack or a stroke can bring you down in an instant. An accident, a moment of violence, a mistake can bring your life to a surprising and rapid end. Consider how vulnerable this body is. What does your mind do when you remember this? Does knowing how vulnerable and fragile you are turn your mind toward living? Does it deepen your experience? The sixth contemplation is a reminder to consider this human body. Your life is literally hanging by a breath. The seventh contemplation. Your loved ones cannot keep you from death. It is only natural to turn to friends and family at the time of your dying. However, the people whom you love cannot keep death from you. And these strong attachments may produce sorrow and clinging, which make dying more difficult. Your loved ones are essentially helpless and powerless in the face of your dying. No matter how kind and adept your friends might be, ultimately they cannot prevent your death. There is nothing they can do for you at the moment of your death. Death will simply prevail. Look at this deeply. Your loved ones cannot keep you from death. This is the 7th contemplation. The 8th. At the moment of your death, your material resources are of no use to you. Imagine yourself on your deathbed. You are growing weaker and more frail by the moment. You have spent your entire life earning money, accumulating material possessions. You may live in a beautiful place, have a nice car, fine clothing. On the threshold of death, what good are any of these material things to you? Every single penny, every single item must be left behind. Houses, bank accounts, art objects, clothing, furniture, all the comforts that you have worked so hard for, you will have to leave behind. They will be utterly useless to you when you are on the threshold of death. In some sense, they are worse than useless. They are impediments to fully surrendering to death. In order to die in peace, you will have to let go of everything. In considering this, can you see yourself clinging to these things that make up part of your story and identity? Consider that all of your cherished objects will be in some way or another redistributed at the time of your death. Everything you've accumulated over so many years will be given away to friends and relatives. What will be really important at the moment of my death? Material possessions will not help. On the in-breath, consider this. On the out-breath, know what it is to release the breath and attachments to all that you possess. This is the 8th contemplation, that your material resources will be of no use to you at the moment of your death. The 9th contemplation. Your own body cannot help you at the time of your death. You have spent so much time working on your body, feeding it, watering it, exercising it, dressing and undressing it, beautifying it, enjoying and not enjoying it. You may spend hours just thinking about your body viewing it in a mirror, evaluating its appearance, trying to make it look younger, stronger, more beautiful. Then what happens? It dies on you anyway. Since your conception and birth, this body has been your constant companion, sometimes a friend, sometimes an enemy. You have experienced so much pain in it and so much pleasure. You may treasure it, you may despise it. And at the moment of death, you lose it. This is not to say that you should neglect this body. You should take care of it, although you are not your body. The care you give your body may make a difference in your practice and your relationships. At this moment, can you feel your dependence on your body, your attachment to your body? Can you see how holding on to your body at the time of your dying might torment you? Imagine what it might be like just before you die. You realize suddenly that you are losing your money, your friends, your loved ones, your status, your job, and at the moment of your death, in an instant, you will also lose your body. Consider this, abiding in the in-breath, abiding in the out-breath. Remember that even your body cannot help you at the time of death. Can you understand how others may feel who are facing their deaths? Why there is so much fear, so much clinging to life, such anger in anticipation of giving up life? Can you feel compassion for yourself and for others? What is really important to you in light of this truth that we cannot hold on to this body when we die? What can you do to prepare yourself to face your death and to skillfully help others face theirs? What can you do to strengthen your awareness and your capacity to surrender to death? What can you do to make it more possible to really be present for yourself or another who is facing the loss of everything at the moment of death? The ninth contemplation reminds us that our body will be of no use to us at the moment of our death. These are the 9 contemplations. Death is inevitable. Our lifespan is decreasing continuously. Death will come regardless of whether we are prepared for it. Human life expectancy is uncertain. Death has many causes. The human body is fragile and vulnerable. Our friends cannot keep us from death. Our material resources cannot help us at the moment of death. And our body cannot help us at the time of death. Consider these truths.